Once upon a time, in a quiet village nestled between green hills, there lived an old man and his kind, gentle daughter. She worked hard every day, sweeping, cooking, and helping her father with a smile. Her stepmother, however, was cold and cruel, and she favored her own daughter, who was lazy and rude. One morning, the stepmother handed the kind girl a spindle and snapped. The old woman said sharply, "Take this and spin it full. Don't you dare come home with it empty." With nothing more than a crust of bread in her pocket, the kind girl set off down the lane, spinning as she walked. But after a while, the spindle slipped from her hand and tumbled down a deep well. Afraid of returning home empty-handed, she whispered a prayer and leapt into the well after it. Instead of cold water, she landed softly in a strange and beautiful land. She wandered for a while and came across an old clay oven, its door wide open. Inside, loaves of bread were turning brown and crackling with heat. The oven called out in a tired voice, "Please, dear girl, take us out before we burn." She quickly fetched a wooden peel and gently lifted each loaf from the oven, placing them on a nearby cloth to cool. Further down the path, she passed a tree so full of apples that its branches drooped. The tree asked kindly, "Please take my apples, they're ripe and heavy, and I can't hold them much longer." The girl reached up, picked every last apple with care, and laid them neatly in a basket beneath the tree. Soon she arrived at a little cottage where an old woman stood at the door, her white hair wrapped in a scarf and her eyes sparkling behind her spectacles. The old woman greeted her with a warm smile. "If you stay with me and help around the house, you'll want for nothing. But you must shake my feather bed well each morning, for that is how snow falls in the world above." The girl agreed happily and stayed for a long while, working with love and care. Every morning she shook the feather bed until snowflakes danced in the sky above the land. Eventually, the girl grew homesick and asked to return home. The old woman nodded with kindness. "You've been good and honest. Come, I shall take you back and give you what you truly deserve." She led the girl to a great gate. As the girl stepped through it, a shower of gold rained down upon her, covering her dress, her hair, even her shoes. She arrived home, shining bright as sunlight. When the stepmother saw this, her eyes gleamed with greed. The old woman barked at her daughter, "Off you go, and don't come back without that gold." So the lazy daughter was given a spindle and sent out the same way. When it fell into the well, she jumped in after it, eager for treasure, not work. She soon reached the oven. The oven said desperately, "Please take us out, we're burning." The girl scoffed and muttered, "Ugh, I don't want to get my hands dirty." Then she passed the apple tree. The tree begged, "Please take my apples, they're ready." She snapped, "Pick them yourself." At last, she came to the cottage where the same old woman stood waiting. The old woman said, "If you stay and work hard, you shall be rewarded." The girl agreed, but she was lazy, messy, and never shook the feather bed. After only a few days, she demanded to go home. The old woman said coldly, "As you wish. You shall have what you deserve." As the girl walked through the gate, a bucket of sticky black tar poured down over her, clinging to her from head to toe, and no matter how hard she scrubbed, it never came off. Back at home, the kind girl lived a life of peace and happiness, loved by all, while the mean girl grumbled in a shadow of her own making. Good night.